Hi, we're the Passarellas, ministry team members of Eagle's Wings, and we're going to China for a short-term missions trip.
For almost 10 years, we have been full-time missionaries to the United States, serving with Eagle's Wings. Between the both of us, God has taken us internationally to Israel 4 times, but our assignment focus has been on the American church, specifically training the next generation of leaders.
As we've served here stateside, and as we've prayed for the peace of Jerusalem, Israel, and the nations every single day, God's put this dream in our hearts for the nations and the churches around the world.
We have this love for the church around the world, and we've been praying, God, make us a part of it.
For me, this missions trip seems very significant. It was almost 10 years ago that God called me into full-time ministry. Gabby's grandmother had given me a book. It was a biography by an underground Chinese church leader. And I read that book, and I can remember vividly reading that book at my parents' house and hearing the stories of this man and just feeling like I wanted to be connected to this big, significant story that he was telling.
Almost 8 years ago, I was in Jerusalem, and it was in a prayer meeting, and I felt the Lord give me a burden for the nations. And it was in God's Holy Land that I felt that that was the place where God confirmed that I was called to be a missionary. We're really excited to take Corey with us. She's 1.5. She probably will never remember this trip, but we really want to be a family that serves now. We want to take our children with us to other nations and involve them in our values and in our calling.
I believe it was in those early days of navigating my calling that God planted a seed in my heart for the nation of China. It's really exciting now that we got this call from an organization to come serve in China for 2.5 weeks, and we're just so excited.
The neat thing about the time that we're going into China will be in December, and there's a big hunger in China about Christmas and what Christmas is all about in America. And so we'll be able to share with Chinese families about what the true meaning of Christmas is about.
I think it's so amazing that God's connected us with this ministry in China because, one, we're going to be pouring into the same age group of leaders that we have been training here in America year after year. God's been preparing us for this moment. And I also believe in my heart that some of these leaders are going to fulfill the vision that I read about in that book on my parents' front porch called The Road Back to Jerusalem, where church missionaries from China are going to travel from the Great Wall of China to the Western Wall at the Temple Mount in Jerusalem and carry the gospel through the nations from China to Israel. It's so amazing that we might be a small part in just 2 weeks of something much bigger than ourselves.
For almost 10 years, you, our partners, have helped impact hundreds of young leaders around the country. This trip seems very significant to us, and we can feel it in our hearts and in our prayers. We're asking, will you stretch your faith by helping send us to encourage, inspire, and reach these young leaders in China?
Will you send the Passarellas to China for the Asia Project, December 2016?